For some, wealth is just a number. For others, it's a source of power and influence. But one thing we can all agree on is that billionaires shouldn't exist. When we think of the world's richest people, images come to mind of those who have achieved success through hard work and innovation. However, this couldn't be further from the truth. Most billionaires have accumulated their fortunes in ways that are morally reprehensible. The top 1% of the world's population controls around 98% of the global wealth. That's a staggering statistic that raises questions about how we got here and what we can do to fix it. So here are 6 reasons why billionaires shouldn't exist. Number 6, the concentration of wealth. The concentration of wealth in the hands of so few is a major issue. This means that a tiny percentage of the population has more money than the other 99%. As the saying goes, money makes the world go round. Having so much power in such a small group of people is dangerous. It gives them the ability to control economies, influence governments, and shape the world according to their own interests. They become so powerful that they can get away with pretty much anything. This includes manipulating financial markets for their own gain, exploiting workers, and even controlling elections. The fact that billionaires can amass such huge fortunes without regard for the well-being of others is a major issue. When these individuals have access to vast amounts of resources while billions of people struggle to meet their basic needs, it creates a stark contrast and raises ethical concerns. These individuals often live lavish lifestyles that are out of touch with the realities of everyday people. And this only serves to highlight the growing gap between the rich and the poor. Number 5, the exploitation of workers. Another reason why billionaires shouldn't exist is that they rely on the exploitation of workers. Many billionaires built their fortunes by taking advantage of cheap labor in developing countries. They moved their businesses overseas to take advantage of lower wages and fewer labor regulations, leaving workers with little choice but to accept low pay and poor working conditions. This not only resulted in massive profits for these billionaires, but also in the exploitation and abuse of workers. In some cases, workers were subjected to long hours, dangerous conditions, and even slavery-like practices. This is not only morally reprehensible, but it also raises concerns about the sustainability of the global economy. When workers are treated as disposable resources, it creates a cycle of poverty and inequality that can have far-reaching consequences. Number 4, the rise of inequality. One of the most significant issues associated with billionaires is the rise of inequality. As the gap between the rich and the poor continues to widen, it creates a society that is divided and unequal. When a small percentage of the population controls most of the wealth, it creates a system where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. This not only leads to social unrest, but also to a decline in economic mobility. As a result, future generations may find it increasingly difficult to improve their economic status, leading to a permanent underclass. Furthermore, the rise of inequality can lead to a loss of social cohesion. When there is such a stark contrast between the lifestyles of the rich and the poor, it can create resentment and distrust between different socioeconomic groups. This can lead to a breakdown in civil society and a decline in social capital, which is essential for a healthy and functioning society. Overall, the rise of inequality is a major concern, and it is clear that something must be done to address it. Number 3, lack of accountability. Billionaires often face a lack of accountability, which can have several negative consequences. When these individuals have amassed so much wealth and power, they can avoid the same rules and regulations that apply to everyone else. This means that they can engage in activities that would otherwise be illegal or unethical without fear of punishment. One example of this is tax evasion. billionaires may use their vast resources to find loopholes in the tax code and avoid paying their fair share. This not only deprives governments of much-needed revenue, but it also creates an unfair advantage over those who do pay taxes. Additionally, the lack of accountability can lead to a culture of corruption. When billionaires are able to get away with unethical behavior, it sends a message that wealth and power are more important than rules and regulations. This can create a ripple effect, inspiring others to engage in corrupt behavior. Moreover, the lack of accountability can lead to a concentration of power in the hands of a few. When billionaires are able to avoid the same scrutiny and regulations as everyone else, it allows them to accumulate wealth and power without fear of being held accountable. This can create a system where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, leading to a society that is divided and unequal. 2. The moral hazard. Moral hazard is a situation in which one party takes risks knowing that another party will be responsible for the consequences. In the case of billionaires, this can manifest in several ways. For example, when billionaires engage in risky financial activities, they often do so with the knowledge that taxpayers will ultimately bear the burden if things go wrong. This can lead to reckless behavior and a lack of concern for the consequences of their actions. Another example of moral hazard is when billionaires pollute the environment without fear of punishment. Since they have the resources to pay for cleanup or to lobby politicians for favorable environmental policies, they may not face any real consequences for their actions. This creates a situation where the rest of society bears the burden of environmental degradation while the billionaires benefit from their wealth and power. Additionally, billionaires may engage in anti-competitive behavior such as price fixing or monopolization without fear of being punished. They may use their vast resources to influence regulators or to outbid smaller businesses, allowing them to dominate industries and set unfair prices. Number 1. Tax evasion. Tax evasion is the act of illegally avoiding the payment of taxes. Billionaires are often able to evade taxes through a variety of means, including offshore tax havens, tax loopholes, and outright fraud. By doing so, they deprive governments of much-needed revenue that could be used to fund public services and programs that benefit society as a whole. For example, taxes are used to fund schools, hospitals, and other essential infrastructure that everyone relies on. When billionaires evade taxes, they are essentially stealing from everyone else in society. They are able to enjoy the benefits of living in a developed country without contributing their fair share to support it. Additionally, tax evasion creates an uneven playing field for businesses. When billionaires are able to avoid paying taxes, it gives them an unfair advantage over businesses that comply with the law. This can lead to a situation where only the wealthy and well-connected are able to succeed, while everyone else is left behind. Ultimately, tax evasion is a form of theft that undermines the very fabric of society. When those at the top are able to avoid paying their fair share, it creates a sense of injustice and resentment among the general public. This can lead to a breakdown in trust and a decline in social cohesion. So there you have it, 6 reasons why billionaires shouldn't exist. From the concentration of wealth to tax evasion, the negative impacts of billionaires are far-reaching and affect us all. It's time to demand greater accountability and responsibility from those at the top. We can't allow a small group of people to hold so much power and influence over our lives. It's time to create a more equitable and sustainable world for all of us. So let's stand together and call for an end to the billionaire class. Thank you for watching.